Hi YouTube, this is Stark. Sorry I've been away, I've been having a few technical issues. Basically my camcorder gave up the ghost, and yeah, I can no longer record myself on camera, so I had to put up with my voice via microphone. Well, the footage of this game is running. This is PokéPark Wii. Pikachu's Adventure from Nintendo. It's due out tomorrow. Nintendo is kind enough to send us a copy. For sort of partly joined a website with a friend of mine. We are gaming until disconnected. So yeah, there's not much there at the moment, but you know, early days yet. But I've got some answers to do. Some long due question. xfile2708 sent me some questions much earlier in the year, and I never got back so far, so I've got to really do this now. So, favourite film? Favourite film was the first. This is like the favourite 90's thing, so favourite 90's film, favourite 90's TV series. Now, I was a typical kid back when I was a typical teenager. I never really grew into what my peers liked. I sort of got stuck with liking cartoons, animation, that sort of thing. And one of the biggest influences back in the day was Lion King. That convinced me to start drawing as a hobby. But that wasn't it's not my favourite film now, and of course now I can see it's got some slight connections with some other things. Anyway. Film in the 90's, it's going to be an animated film anyway. It's kind of somewhere cross between a tie between Disney's Tarzan in 1999 and Warner Brothers' own underrated classic The Iron Giant. Both are great films. The Iron Giant is very, I'll probably go with that as it's quite different from what Disney were doing back in the day. I mean, it's very Warner Brothers style animation. It's got some great character animation in it, and it's just, you know, really fun film. Doesn't require like dancing animals or anything. So yeah, that'd be my favorite film of the 90's. Favorite 90's TV series. Now this kind of stumped me. I was like in the film section, I was never really a fan of live action anything. Really, I'm still not much of a fan. I mean, 20% of my DVD collection is live action, the rest is animated. So yeah, it gives you a rough idea of things in my collection. I went with the two TV series which I would still love to see today, and that would be the game-related ones of the time. It was Games Master, which was great with Domenico, and Patrick Moore, and that. Who presented it? Dominic Diamond, or Dominic Diamond. That's it. Dominic Diamond presented it. And the other show was, of course, Bad Influences, when I got my first view of like certain games and how I looked at Super Mario 64. I think a lot of people in the UK's first glimpse of the N64 was of Violet Berlin playing it on Bad Influence back in '95. So yeah, those two shows, Game Master and Bad Influence, probably teeting towards Games Master more, I think. Cartoons, this was insanely hard, really, in some ways, and in other ways it was pathetically easy. 90's was a kind of renaissance for animation on television. The 80's was full of commercial bred stuff, kind of ironic, seeing what footage I'm playing over this commentary. But yeah, I mean, the 80's you had Transformers, He-Man, My Little Pony, Care Bears, Popples, and all that sort of stuff. Pretty much every single cartoon in the 80's was designed to sell you toys. And until like 1988, when things like Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out and changed what perceptions of animation could be. I mean, you could make a cartoon which appealed to both adults and children, a family show. So we started with Mighty Mouse New Adventures from Ralph Bakshi and Rocko's Modern Life from Nickelodeon. Then, of course, we got into things like Warner Brothers and Disney started making animation like DuckTales and Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, and of course Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs on Warner's side. Now, I was going to go with Animaniacs for the early part of the 90s. That was my favourite cartoon for the early part of the 90s. It still holds up to this day. I mean, some of the stuff in it is just incredibly ingenious. The other show is probably more of a no-brainer is the Simpsons back in when they were being shown on BBC Two. Back in the day, they're now on 4, and it's like now because the BBC showed it was it's early seasons, and it was probably the best show on air in some respects. But of course now it's gotten stale over the course of its 20-odd, somewhat like that seasons. So yeah, it's a cross between Animaniacs in the early 90s and The Simpsons in the late 90s. If I had to choose between the two, I'd have to go with The Simpsons in the 90s episodes, the ones I saw in the BBC. Favourite toy of the 90s? Of course, remember in 1997, George Lucas re-released Star Wars. He released the Star Wars Special Edition, and because that's one of the few live-action films I really was interested to see in cinema. Especially since the trilogy was being shown almost consecutively. So, of course, you're going to release items, packages, toys, that sort of thing, and I sort of collected a few Star Wars Micro Machines. I don't know where they are now, but back in the day I had quite a few of them. I had several X-Wings and TIE Fighters and all that sort of thing. They were quite fun to collect. Yeah, those were my kind of the only toys I had during the 90s. Favourite game? Ooh, toughy. I remember like playing lots of games. I mean, of course, I was the 90s was the period between where I skipped between the Mega Drive and moved on to the Nintendo 64. I love my Mega Drive, I really do, but I had to get the push to the N64. Some of the N64 games of the 90s. Things like Super Mario 64, Star Fox 64, and that sort of thing. But I think the one that conducive with me, and this may sound kind of a cliche, but the one that really gets me was Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. That's the game I have like played time and time again, and that's sort of a rarity for me. I kind of play through a game, and some of them I will play again, but Legend of Zelda I sort of go through and complete 100%. Like every time I played it, I got the original cartridge for the N64. I've got a copy of it that came with the special edition for Wind Waker, and I got the collector's edition version. I didn't buy it on the virtual console or anything. I'm fascinated to see what this the version of it is going to look like on the 3DS. Yeah, and I'll probably get a chance because I'm going to Eurogamer for Game Until Disconnected in October 1st, 2nd and 3rd, I think. As a part of Game Until Disconnected, and sort of hopefully I'm going to get some nice footage of the stuff there. Hopefully you should enjoy it. If I still got any subscribers by then. Joking, kidding, whatever. Yeah, so yeah, hopefully I'll be able to put up a video review for PokéPark Wii Pikachu's Adventure soon. I do have a whole lot of stuff I gotta get going. I got some other games I gotta play that other companies have sent. So yeah, this is sign off, and I should hope to put up another video soon.